I was with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu yesterday. We had a very fruitful meeting, and they have been making the offers. They have been making the offers for him to withdraw the agitation. Of course, you know Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is not that kind of person. So I was with him.
All right. Thank you for joining me in this video. Please, I beg you to stay with me because we have gotten a big secret that I want to reveal to you in this video. Please, I beg you to stay. Now, today is the first day of December 2025, and I want to use this opportunity to thank God for the gift of life, because staying alive in Nigeria is not just a miracle, but is a great testimony. Oh yes, in fact, if you are alive one day in Nigeria, every minute you are alive, you should be thanking God, especially for those of you living in Nigeria. So we thank God for the gift of life. Having said that, the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is gradually going wider and wider on daily basis. Oh yes, why did I say so? Because some government officials has begun to come out to say that, oh, this man is actually in prison because he has refused our offer. Yes, we've had his lawyer say that. We have had Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer say that. We've had some government officials say that. We've had some activists like Sowore come out to say that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was actually imprisoned. In fact, all the while that he was in detention, he was there because he only refused to take the the offers that the federal government is giving him. And guess what? What are the offers? The first is for him to abandon the Biafran struggle. And the second is for him to join a political party. And of course, what follows that is that they are going to give him a huge money. In fact, we received an update that they are ready to offer him 50 billion naira and an oil well somewhere in Niger Delta. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu turned all those things down, insisting that he must fight and get Biafra. Now, that is what has escalated to all these imprisonments, punishing him and so on and so forth. I also want you to keep today's date down, just as you keep this proverb I'm going to tell you now. The proverb says, yes, some may say that it is the stone that the builders has rejected has become the cornerstone. You see this imprisonment, they have imprisoned Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Believe in me, keep today's date down. Today's date is the first day of December. They will later beg Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come out. Keep today's date down. And I can tell you that from history. Should I? Please, I beg you to stay with me because we are about to expose another thing now. Now, today, some of our political leaders are talking about restructuring in Nigeria. Some of them are saying, oh, the best way to go now is restructuring. Some of the politicians from the Southwest are talking about it.
The next thing he should do, tell him if you know him, is to restructure this country. Nigeria is a fraud. One particular tribe repressing the whole of us. Did you hear what Central Bank governor wants to do? Just a department. The operation department of Central Bank to be moved back to Lagos, where you have 99% of the headquarters of bank. The North is agitated.
But do you know that it was because of this restructuring that they killed over 3.5 million Biafrans? How or what do I mean? It was restructuring that Ojukwu and the Gowon went for Aburi Accord to sign. They went to sign restructuring, and on getting back, Britain called restructuring is not going to work. It's not going to favor them. And Ojukwu did his best. Did you doubt what I'm telling you? Listen to it from the mouth of the best knower.
Did Ojukwu cause any war? Gowon is alive, go and ask him. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Ojukwu went and negotiated restructuring with you. In Aburi. You came back. Britain told you not to agree because Britain realized that all the component units of Britain knows that if you go back to regionalism, you have economic growth. The country will do very well. But Britain doesn't want it. That was why they even instigated the Nzogbu so-called Nzogbu saying they will bring Awolowo to become the head of state. They knew what was going to happen. They wanted to truncate the economic miracle of Dr. Michael Opara. What I'm telling you are fast. Go and investigate for yourself.
Now, after refusing restructuring and because of it, killing over 3.5 million Biafrans, today they are talking about restructuring. Now, that one being apart, in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu actually began by speaking against the killing, against the injustice that is happening in Nigeria. They never took him serious. You remember, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu protested in London saying that, oh, what is happening in Nigeria is not good. Let me show you the video so you confirm what we are talking about.
My name is Nnamdi Kanu. The reason why we are here today is to protest the killing of innocent women and children, and men for that matter, all over Nigeria, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. We are not happy, we are not pleased with what is happening, and that is why we are here today. As you can see, there are a lot of Nigerians who are protesting about the killing of families, people who are determined to tear the country apart violently, and it is not something that we support. It is not something that we would like to see continue, and we are here today to send a clear message to the Nigerian government through the High Commissioner that what is happening in the country is unacceptable and we cannot accept it. If that continues, it will lead to the violent disintegration of the country. There will be no more Nigeria for anyone to go to. There will be no Nigeria for anyone to repair to. In fact, what is happening in Somalia today will be like a tea party. So we cannot allow this nonsense to continue. Something has to be done. And the consequences of the actions of terrorism in Nigeria must be driven home to the people so that even the terrorists themselves will be able to understand that there is no mileage in where they're going. The only thing they can accomplish is the breakup of Nigeria. If they think that they can cower people, if they think they can force people to be coerced into a religion which is not theirs, then they are clearly mistaken. We are asking for peace, we are asking for people to get together, we are asking for everybody who loves Nigeria, who is associated with that country, to please prevail upon terrorism in Nigeria so we can bring it to an end. That is why a multitude of Nigerians are gathered here today. Those of us in the UK are determined to work with the government for peace. We are determined to work with the International Committee for peace. But one thing we cannot stomach is a repeat of 1966. What is happening today in Nigeria was the reason why Nigeria fought a bitter civil war for 3 years between 1967 and 1970. If this continues, there will be another civil war in Nigeria. And this time around, no place will be safe in Nigeria. This time around, nobody will be safe in Nigeria. So it is imperative that everybody who has the interest of the country at heart acts now and immediately to stop this nonsense from continuing.
Now, after this protest, the Nigerian people continued their killings, they continued their marginalization, they continued their injustice. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu opened Radio Biafra. And I can tell you that when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu started, what he was campaigning for was restructuring. Oh yes, what he was campaigning for was restructuring. Regional government, let everybody go back and, control their resources and do their things, and then we have one federal capital. And you know what? The federal government say, look at this one. We want what happened to your father to also happen to you. That was how we started. In fact, Sowore confirmed it in an interview that he granted, where he said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu actually want a united Nigeria, but he want it in a way that everybody will work on their own and control their resources.
Wait, the meeting you had with Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
You are telling us now that Nnamdi Kanu, from what you understand from the meeting with him, he does not want Nigeria to break, to divide.
No, he said clearly that it is too late for Nigeria to come together. But he gave his point. We live streamed the meeting now. It's online.
Okay.
And part of it was live streamed. Some of them were private. But he said that he feels that if Nigeria were to respect certain protocols, including a referendum inserted in the constitution, and he still says it even now in court, that if he's released, he will go back and end the bloodshedding. The bloodshedding is in that part, and that a conversation can. He says that in every court appearance.
And when the federal government, also turned that down, that was when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu thought that the best and the best of it is to divide Nigeria. And that was why he started Biafran struggle. And at some point, they call him and say, okay, oh, Sahoya, come, let us talk this restructuring. How are you saying? What are you saying? And that was when he said that we have crossed the Rubicon. Listen to him.
Absolutely nothing. Nothing. I need them to understand this. We've crossed the Rubicon, the point of no return. There is nothing anybody can do. If I'm alive, if I'm dead, if I'm wherever I may be, Biafra will come. If I'm dead, it's even better because it will come far more quick.
Oh yes, I believe you, sir. There is no going back. And that is the best option. But you watching this now, think about it. If you believe, or you are part of those, or one of those that believe that, oh, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is actually wrong, he has committed offense as they claim, why do you think that they are still begging him to accept offers and, let them pardon him? If they claim that he has offended, that he has committed any crime, why asking him to accept offers? Think about it for a while. You say somebody committed a crime. In fact, you are trying him for 7-count charges as they claim. And yet, you are still begging that person, leave this one. If you leave this, your Biafra struggle, we will grant you freedom. In other words, that what you are charging him is not actually what he committed, but because he did not believe in your government, because he did not accept your offers. Isn't it? Well, I will also allow you now to listen to Sowore, where he said all that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has told him. When Mazi Nnamdi Kanu meant well for the Nigerian people, when he was campaigning for the unity of Nigeria, and so on and so forth. So that you will know that this man is not actually your problem. For those who said or who believe that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the problem of Nigeria, for you who believe so, since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been, kidnapped and he kept in detention, what is happening in Nigeria? Has it not doubled? Has it not tripled? Has it not? Has killing not doubled? Has economic hardship not tripled? That is to show you that this man is not actually your problem, but something is wrong with the foundation of Nigeria. So please, I want to beg you to listen to Sowore and hear what he said. Then you understand what we are talking about. Please do well to drop your comment in the comment section. And if this is your first time coming across my video, do not forget to subscribe, all right? Please, I beg you to listen to.
You had a meeting with Nnamdi Kanu, and that sparked, in fact, I
New York.
Yeah, I think you got arrested after that meeting. People would say, you people are not fighting the same cause. You are fighting to be the president of the country. He is fighting to divide the country. People would say, why would you be seen in such a meeting? Would you like to clear that?
You see, anybody that lacks any sense of consciousness would ignore social movements. That is the problem with Nigerian leadership. You cannot have a country in which there are 251 tribes or language, and one big section says, we are not satisfied with here. And you don't talk to them. You don't understand them. Then you are not a leader of that country. The reason I met him was to understand first what his struggle was about, which I knew already. And secondly, to also advise him on the way that I think we could all work together. And thirdly, to send a message to the Nigerian people that we can walk through our differences, even at this level. And I was surprised that contrary to what some people are saying, he did not want Nigeria to break up. He wanted a Nigeria where the Igbo man can survive. But for an Igbo man to survive in Nigeria, as it is currently put together, Nigeria must break.
Wait, the meeting you had with Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes.
You are telling us now that Nnamdi Kanu, from what you understand from the meeting with him, he does not want Nigeria to break, to divide.
No, he said clearly that it is too late for Nigeria to come together. But he gave his conditions. We live streamed the meeting now. It's online.
Okay.
And part of it was live streamed. Some of them were private. But he said that he feels that if Nigeria were to respect certain protocols, including a referendum inserted in the constitution, and he still says it even now in court, that if he's released, he will go back and end the bloodshedding. The bloodshedding is in that part, and that a conversation can. He says that in every court appearance. that he's being held is not helping the opportunity to have a conversation about whatever it is, the unity you are begging for. But you see, Nigeria has a problem. And I've always said, Nigeria has an Igbo problem. And I'm not saying it to please people who are known as Igbos. But the moment they decided to take the action they took in 1967 to 1970, the war, Nigeria, having won that war in their eyes, never forgave the Igbos. That is the reality. And if I were to be president of Nigeria today, the first thing I would do is to head to the Southeast and apologize to them for the war. Part of it is that I'd never participated in it. And I cannot continue to fight a war that I did not engage in. And then ask them, what do we want?
So are you saying that the federal government has like even before successive governments, yes, they've always had this anger against the Igbos?
There is a secret memo. I don't know where it is located in government that whenever we want to take charge in this country, be careful of the Igbo. Don't give them position. Don't give them opportunity. Otherwise, they will overrun. It's a well-known fact. Even our parents, tell us, Igbo. You understand? Some of them even say unconsciously. They even say it on radio shows in this country. So don't let us lie to ourselves, because except we bring this out openly and discuss, it's a taboo that we have refused to discuss.
True.
We are not going to solve the problem. It is the reason why the federal government of Nigeria feels that in 2024, detaining Nnamdi Kanu against all the court orders, against all the court rulings, is the only way to go. You know, I was detained in the DSS place for 5 months.
Yes.
There's nothing there to detain anybody. The place is not even functioning. The DSS headquarters. Yes, is it the same DSS people who are watching BB Nigeria from morning till night? No, it's true now. I was there with them for 5 months. I've said this publicly. So all the institutions in this country are broken down. But let's get back to a reality. One thing I've told people is that you are looking at Igbos as the only people who want to secede. But who in this country today has not mentally seceded from Nigeria? Mentally seceded. Who has not left? Except those who are trapped. If anybody in this country is working in a bank and he has 10 million naira and somebody say you can get into Canada, he will leave the next day.
I swear.
Is that not secession? What of secession is that you leave a country, you say to that country goodbye,
and not do it
you
again.
get to the other country, you bow down, you touch the soil.
Anything you go do.
And then you renounce your citizenship of the country you are coming from. Is that not what they call secession? So if you want to look at the number of people that have seceded in that Japa syndrome, there are more than all the Igbos combined together who are asking to leave. And in the process of keeping Nigeria united, we have let go of more citizens than the country should have. Yes.
So you think if they had, because I mean, from the last thing you said now, you say in the process of trying to keep Nigeria united,
yes,
we have let go of more citizens than we should have.
Of course.
So if we had allowed for the division or secession of Nigeria, most of our citizens that are outside would not have been outside.
No, you see, it is not the secession I'm talking about.
Okay, what are you talking about?
It is what led to the war that we did not address.
Okay.
And what happened after the war. Why is it that Nigeria hasn't been able to overcome the Biafran problem? It's because Nigeria never addressed what the Biafrans were asking for before the war.
What were they asking for?
They were asking for to be treated not as second-class citizens in this country. Don't you know what happened, the called pogrom in this country, where people were slaughtered and their bodies and their heads placed inside the train going down south? Yes, from the different parts of the north. Are we ignoring that? So
that happened
before the war?
Before the war. That's what they call pogrom.
History.
You know, people who were settled, doing well, they were slaughtering them and sending their bodies and their heads inside calabash and sending on trains that was heading East.
Were they Easterners?
They were Easterners.
Yes,
Why are you asking me? It's there in, go and Google it now. So you expect that will happen, and then there was a war that eviscerated 3 million people. Wow. And when the war was over, you just say, oh, nobody was vanquished, nobody was victorious. And then
3 hours.
But you still kept a memo and said, don't trust them.
Collect people money,
yes.
give them £20.
And then you took their properties. So Ojukwu did not get back JAMB until 1992 now, his father's house, that is known as JAMB headquarters here in Ikoyi. It was after he came back from Ivory Coast. It was Babangida, I think, that gave him back their property. So any country that is perpetually carrying out systemic injustice against will lose more citizens than they should have.
Hey, are you still fighting the struggle to have independence for Biafra?
We are fighting for independence, not fighting physically with guns and bullets. We are fighting in terms of our agitation. We are fighting in terms of our belief. We're fighting in terms of our consistency to ensure that we are free, because we're not free. As a free people, we can afford to make life better for our people. Right now, we can't do that because of how Nigeria is structured and because of the very flawed foundations upon which Nigeria rests.
You called for a referendum latest this year, November, you said, I think. If that doesn't happen, what's the way forward? Because the way it looks like the government will definitely not agree to that.
Then there'll be no elections in Biafra land. No more elections here. They can put whoever they like in office. They can do whatever they like with their political positions. We will not engage in any political process.
You said it's a peaceful struggle, but yes. There are some videos of you appearing in the past, especially abroad, in particular in one conference in the US, where you said you need weapons to defend yourself. You need guns and ammunition. How can we understand that in the context that you're saying it's a peaceful struggle?
I'm sure you've heard about the Fulani headsmen killing people all over the place. Have you heard about it? Exactly. So how do you intend to defend yourself against Fulani headsmen without guns and bullets? They'll be killing our people, raping our women, destroying crops in the farms, and no one does anything about it. Is that how human beings are supposed to live?
So, and you have the right to arm yourself and defend yourself with arms in that context?
Self-defense is recognized even by all the known laws of the UN. Is that not correct? We have the right. If somebody were to barge into this very interview and are wielding a machete or an AK-47, are you suggesting we should let them get away with it?
You were detained for almost 2 years, from 2015 on, and actually there was no trial. No trial ever happened, and despite several court rulings that said you were supposed to be released, you were not released.
Yeah.
Do you think you were treated in a fair way by the government? Or rather also by the justice system?
No, not fairly, because Nigeria is not a civilized country. People behave like animals. They're not reasonable enough. They're not disciplined enough. They are not mentally developed enough to run a transparent civil society. For them, they have a feudal mindset where you have the ruling class and, a multitude of poverty-stricken people who never utters any word in rebellion or to even ask questions about their plight. That is one thing we are determined to challenge.
Don't you think you insult a lot of Nigerians with that?
I'm being very kind, to be honest. I could have used far more harsher words to describe them. I'm being very kind.
So generally, you don't think very positive of your countrymen then, obviously.
They are not... When you say positive, no, as individuals, perhaps there are a few good people amongst them. But as a collective, this is an absolute mess. And you can see for yourself. Didn't you go through the roads and see how horrible they are? Didn't you see how unkempt everywhere is? How filthy and dirty everywhere is? That is the product of a Nigerian system that is uniquely backwards, even by the very third world standards of Black Africa. That's the fact, and people must face up to it.
Well, I traveled in the north quite extensively, and I went to very remote areas, sometimes where you would still find Igbo people living there, peaceful together with communities in the north. Don't you sometimes think that you might endanger their peaceful coexistence with the communities there, that they might get into trouble with that?
So if they're living so peacefully together, or cohabiting so peacefully as you put it,
How come you hear about all those uprisings in the north where southern Christians are being slaughtered and nothing gets done about it? Are you telling me that that is normal? People are in the north out of a dire need, necessity more or less, to try and survive. Because here, the entire production process has been emasculated by people and policies that are geared towards ensuring that our people exist in perpetual state of poverty. And that is unacceptable to us. What we're asking the world to recognize is that we want to live in peace, not in pieces. We want to live in peace just to allow us to be. Allow Biafra to exist. We were existing before the British came. Just allow us to go back to, what we were before. No African came to Europe to create countries. So for somebody to just come in here and say, you, from today, your name is Nigeria is simply laughable.
All right. So what do you make of it? Drop your comment in the comment section, all right? I'll see you in my next video. There are so many updates I want to share with you. Thank you, and may God continue to bless you.